What's going on, everyone? Today is October 4th of 2023. Today, we'll be discussing the numerology and astrology riddles in yesterday's news story from October 3rd of Kevin McCarthy being voted out of his role as Speaker of the House just 9 months after being elected. It was once said by musician Frank Zappa that politics is the entertainment division of the military-industrial complex. And this quote holds far more truth than most people realize. Back in January, I made this video on McCarthy's election as House Speaker, which was embroiled in controversy, as it took a record 15 votes before he finally won. In that video, I explained how it was all a ritual connected to the planet Saturn. Kevin McCarthy was elected on 1/7/23. With the alphabetic order squared, the planet Saturn has a Gematria value of 1723. And this is significant because Saturnalia, the festival which venerates Saturn, is celebrated from the 17th through the 23rd of December. And the square number cipher is important to this decode because important numbers for Saturn are derived from the planet's magic square, as seen here. Saturnalia is a festival of sacrifice, so it should be no big surprise that Kevin McCarthy was brought down as a sacrifice to continue this endless distraction and division provided by our mainstream media. And indeed, this video will also explain how yesterday's chaos at the U.S. Capitol is ripe with numerology connected to Saturnalia, as well as Kevin McCarthy's second Saturn return, which will happen this coming December. Now, as always on this channel, in order to properly understand this language of numerology, you need to have a slight grasp on the language of Gematria, which is the number lettering system that sits underneath our language. This all starts with the basic alphabetic order where every letter is numbered 1 through 26. This method branches off into what we call the base 4 methods, where the alphabetic order is simply reversed or reduced to a cipher called Pythagorean Gematria. And as always, we'll be looking at the extended methods of Gematria. This English standard cipher, identical to ancient Hebrew Gematria and Greek isopsephy. But this Latin, or Agrippa's key method, taken from Masonic texts in the 16th, 17th century, seems to hold even more weight. And we're actually going to start with this as we get into the decode. So to kick things off, let's talk about how this connects to the United States Capitol, as it was said chaos reigned supreme with the first ever time that a House Speaker has been voted out. In this Latin method of Gematria, United States Capitol sums to 987. And yesterday was President Joe Biden's 987th day in office. And this is particularly noteworthy because the number 987 is a Fibonacci number, the 16th Fibonacci number. And remember how the chaos at the Capitol in 2021 after Biden's election happened on January 6th, the date written 1/6. So more chaos at the Capitol by the numbers. In Latin Gematria, U.S. House of Representatives has a value of 2069. With the 0 ignored, as we customarily do in numerology, this represents the number 269. Kevin McCarthy was ousted from his position 269 days after he was elected into the role. This stands out because measuring from his birthday to Patrick McHenry, who is the new Speaker of the House pro tempore in an interim role until a new election is held. McHenry was born 269 days after McCarthy's birthday, 10 years and 269 days apart. 269 is a prime number, the 57th prime number. This connects us to Matt Gaetz, who was the Republican congressman responsible with bringing the motion to remove Kevin McCarthy to the table. And Matt Gaetz was born on May 7th, or 5/7. In fact, when Kevin McCarthy was elected as House Speaker, he was 57 years old. When McCarthy was boosted from his role yesterday, it was a span of 16 weeks and 4 days before his birthday. In the standard alphabetic order, his replacement, Patrick McHenry, sums to 164. His full name, Patrick Timothy McHenry, has a value of 274. And yesterday's news fell a span of 274 days after January 3rd. January 3rd is the date that both Kevin McCarthy and Patrick McHenry first assumed office as U.S. congressman. Also notice how Kevin McCarthy was born on January 26th, the date written 126, whereas Kevin McCarthy was born on a date with numerology of 126. This all pointing to a Saturnian ritual. The word Saturnian, also with Gematria of 126. In that same reverse alphabetic order, Kevin Owen McCarthy, his full name, sums to 250. Yesterday fell 250 days after McCarthy's birthday. With the end date included, this is also a span of 251 days. This is the Latin gematria of the word speaker. Ritual sacrifice, also 251 in reverse. His replacement, Patrick McHenry, was even 2,501 weeks old when he took over for McCarthy. These are the same three digits, 1, 5, and 2, found in the ordinal value of Kevin McCarthy, 152. In December, when Kevin McCarthy has his second Saturn return, the number 152 appears in his age. So let's talk a little bit more about Saturn here. The speaker was ousted 75 days before the beginning of Saturnalia on December 17th. And in the alphabetic order, speaker sums to 75. Another significant number to this whole Saturnalia event is 73. And we see this in the base methods of Gematria. Planet Saturn sums to 73 in reverse reduction. So does the festival Saturnalia, 73 in the same cipher. The word sacrifice gives us a 73 in ordinal, and ritual sacrifice even sums to 73 in reduction. Don't lose sight of the 154 ritual sacrifice like Saturnalia in reverse. But really, it's all about this number 73, as this is also the gematria of Kevin McCarthy, who lost his job yesterday, also giving us a 73. Another cipher that's significant to this story, and it's one I don't talk about very often. However, it is a relevant cipher of Gematria, and this is even seen on Wikipedia. It has its own page, the English Kabbalah. This was a cipher that was derived to interpret the mysteries of Aleister Crowley and his texts. And Aleister Crowley was the founder of Thelema. And notice how in Thelema, the number 93 is of great significance, as this even replaces hellos and goodbyes. Thelema believes that will and love are the ultimate objects of life and both of these words in Greek have a gematria value of 93. Well, in the alphabetic order, the planet Saturn also sums to 93, so it's easy to see how Saturn is particularly important to Thelema. So in this English Kabbalah, the planet Saturn also has this gematria value of 73. Now, 73 days on a calendar equates to 10 weeks and 3 days, a lot like the number 103. And consider how yesterday, the speaker named McCarthy, which both sums to 103, lost his job on October 3rd, or 10-3. This is also the same gematria as his replacement, McHenry, in the reverse alphabetic order. Let's take a quick glance at this magic square of Saturn. This is the smallest magic square of all the planets. And you'll see that it has a total sum of 45, the ninth triangular number. All 9 squares have a sum of 45. The 45th prime number is 197. This is the ordinal gematria of Speaker of the House. And Matt Gaetz, the man who was responsible for yesterday's chaos, notice how his birthday falls 197 days after Patrick McHenry's. However, these two men were also born a span of 2,390 days apart. And in the English Kabbalah, Speaker of the House sums to 239, exhibiting again how relevant this method is to this story. Speaker of the United States House of Representatives, which is the full official title of this job, has a value of 713. Why is this important? If you take the English word Saturn and translate it to Hebrew, you get the Hebrew word Shabtai, and Shabtai in Hebrew sums to 713. This is also the English standard value of total eclipse. And indeed, eclipses are significant to this story as well. In the two reduction methods, Speaker of the United States House of Representatives equals 202 and 257. These are the same two values as total solar eclipse in the ordinal ciphers, 202 and 257. Measuring from the last total solar eclipse, which was in December of 2021, to the date of this news story, is a span of exactly 22 months, syncing up with this 202 in both phrases. The new speaker, Patrick, has matching 33 gematria with Eclipse. So earlier we looked at this 269 that connects Kevin McCarthy to Patrick McHenry. 2 Micks, one Mick replacing another. Well, if you include the end date, these measurements are also 270 days. This is important because when McCarthy was ousted yesterday, it was a span of exactly 27 weeks before the next total solar eclipse. This date, January 26th, is wrong. That's April 8th of 2024. Notice how Patrick McHenry also has reduced birth numerology of 27. And this is important for another reason, because the 27th prime number is 103. And this all went down on October 3rd, or 10/3. But 270 is also the reverse value of Matthew Lewis Gates II, this being the full name of the congressman who thought it was a good idea to get McCarthy unelected. If we were instead to use the reduction methods of gematria, Matthew Lewis Gates II sums to 108 and 90, a lot like 189. Yesterday was a span of 189 days before the next total solar eclipse over the United States. It was also exactly 18 years and 9 months after Patrick McHenry first became a congressman from North Carolina. 189 is the ordinal value of the phrase Saturn return. Measuring from yesterday's event to Kevin McCarthy's second Saturn return is a span of 2 months and 25 days. The name Matthew Lewis Gates sums to 225 in ordinal, and yesterday was also exactly 225 months after Patrick McHenry became a congressman. The number 225 is the 15th square number. Now, the number 15 is very relevant to all of this. Notice how in reduction, House of Representatives sums to 105, a lot like the number 15. Speaker of the United States House of Representatives also sums to the 105th prime number. Well, remember back in January, it took 15 votes to elect Kevin McCarthy as the new House Speaker. And in the reverse Sumerian method of Gematria, Kevin Owen McCarthy sums to 1,500. Yesterday was a span of 150 days after Matt Gaetz' birthday. But what also stands out about Gaetz' age is that you have 15,000, right? Another 15. 125 days. Well, 125 is the reverse sum of the name McCarthy. All right, guys. Well, I think I covered everything for this decode. That's going to do it for this one. Thanks to everybody for tuning in. If you'd like more information, please check the links in the description below. And if you'd like to support the work, please feel free to check out the membership section on the website, which is also linked in the description. Peace, love, God bless, and we'll talk to you all next time. See ya.